Why do people get into relationships? I don't know if you guys have noticed, but relationship talk is extremely popular at the moment. Everybody's talking about it. The quickest way to grow your channel is to get a freaking podcast of women and a guy and just talk about the dynamics between like the 80 and 20, all these different types of stuff, hypergamy, all these different types of things, right? But in today's video, I kind of want to give you guys like a different kind of perspective, kind of like some nuanced things that I've noticed personally as a young person. Maybe my perspective will kind of change yours a little bit. Maybe you've kind of been hearing the same monotonous stuff. So I can come here and kind of change it up just a little bit. So the first thing that I want to address, right? And if you guys have been noticing this, you notice that the guys in modern society function like tricks, and you notice that the women think like working girls. If you guys can get the code that I'm speaking with, which is a very interesting dynamic, which is not how relationships were intended to function. Basically, we have a transactional relationship, a business transaction that is going on between the two sexes. Now, some people are going to say, well, you know, transactional things is the way of life, and they have a good point. But back in the day, there used to be an aspect of, you know, security and stability and some kind of emotional attachment, some kind of emotional love, right? Having those two together and having a perspective, loyalty towards one another is what kept the relationship going, what kept people battling for the relationship and not easily give up on it. See, the moment in today's culture that the transaction gets lost, somebody fumbles on either side, whoever fumbles, the other person leaves automatically. So guys are functioning like tricks and women are functioning like working girls. You know what? It was interesting. Have you guys noticed? This is how transactional, this is one of the nuanced things that maybe you guys aren't privy to. When a trick gives a woman money, do you know that that woman just instantly became in debt? Do you guys realize as soon as that woman gave you sex, you were in debt? This is why when the pump and dump culture was happening, women were upset about it. This is why when dudes get finessed for money, they get upset about it. So what does that make the date? A negotiation. That's an interesting dynamic that you need to always be aware of, especially in today's culture, because you're gonna run into people that have this kind of mindset. You know what else is super interesting about the human dynamics between men and women? We talk about guys being 304s, but is that actually really true? Are all guys 304s? You've been taught this in school. You were taught that guys cheat in relationship all the time. Guys ain't shit. What about the woman though? Women cheat too. Women do bad things in relationships as well. Why is all the blame on the man? And so here's an insight that the media and the outside world won't tell you. Who is really the 304s, the man or the woman? Now, think about this for a second. Women have easier access to sex. That's the easiest thing she can do. She can go to one of her coworkers tomorrow and say, hey, I want you to come over tonight. A woman can go down the street and talk to a random guy and be like, hey, I want you to come over to my place around 9. Working girls could have interactions with men up to 10 men a day. One, because she's the catcher, not the pitcher. A guy can't have sex with 10 women in one day. It ain't gonna happen. First of all, you ain't got the energy, the time, and your genitalia will get sensitive after a little bit. So it doesn't make sense for a guy to have sex with multiple women over a long period of time, and plus, here's the other thing that's going on. You have the 80-20 rule, which means what? Only really 20% of the 20, 30, maybe 40% of the guys are having the bulk of the women. So how can every guy really be a 304? Likewise, a woman could easily rack up bodies easily. So if a woman has easy access to sex, a man statistically doesn't, the average man doesn't, only the top 20, 30% of men do. Who is more likely to be a 304? Ding, 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 ding. The woman. The woman. She can easily rack up 20 bodies in a week if she wanted to. So that leads to my first thing. A lot of you guys think that you're beating it down in the bedroom. You think you wearing it out. Well, in today's sexually liberated culture, women have had more sex than you. This is statistically proven. Women in their 20s are having way more sex than the guys in their 20s. There's a study that's been proven about this. So you guys go in there, you think you beating it down, you know, she's moaning and groaning. That really could be an act. Or you could be beating it down. It could be enjoyable sex, but it could not be the best sex. Here's the thing you have to realize. Women don't get into relationships for sex. She already had a whole bunch of sex. She already had the tall guy. She already had the Long Johnson guy. She already tried all that. So don't think that you're doing anything special inside the bedroom. She's really in the relationship with you because you have finances, you're stable, you have emotional stability, and she wants kids. She wants an intact family unit. So don't be under any delusions, guys. Don't think that you were the first and the best guy. Men get into relationships really for sex. Why? Because he can't get access to sex unless he has money, resources. This is the interesting thing as well. A woman wouldn't get into a relationship if she could get the sex and the finances, stable finances on a consistent basis outside of the relationship. She wouldn't get into a relationship if she could get it outside of a relationship, the sex and the finances. A guy wouldn't get into a relationship if he has access to multiple women. So the average guy, he gets into a relationship mainly because he wants consistent sex on a consistent basis. There's not a guy watching this video, there's not a guy in this world that would volunteer to get into a marriage, get into a relationship that is sexless. If the woman told you straight away, hey, we're going to get into this relationship, but we can't have sex, 99.9, matter of fact, 101% of guys would never get into a relationship if that was what the outcome was, if that was what the arrangement was. So men get into a relationship for sex, companionship, and of course to have an intact family unit, right? You guys both provide emotional support. You have somebody to talk to. You're not the only one. You guys have your roles to play. We all know that stuff, but I kind of wanted to come in and kind of give you guys a different perspective, because in conclusion, I don't want you guys to be delusioned when it comes. I don't even think delusioned is a word, but I don't want you guys to become delusional about the role and the price you pay in a relationship, because we both have our roles. We both have our price to pay. It might not necessarily be sex. It might not be money, but it's money, energy, attention, time, anything, right? So everything in this world has a sacrifice and a price to it. Don't go into it delusional. That's my video. You guys like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you like the video. I'll see you guys on the next one, man. Appreciate you guys watching to the end. Peace.